All right, imagine you've got a 14 or 16-year-old son. Okay. In my head, it's all Americanized, but it'll translate to any place in the world to some extent. Okay, there's gonna need to be a lot of modifications made, but imagine you got a 14 or 16-year-old son. Now, let's imagine that he's not exactly an obedient son. Okay, let's imagine maybe he plays video games or jerks off with fucking friends and just fucking kills time. Maybe he's just fucking scrolling fucking TikTok, Facebook, whatever. Maybe he's not on a path to greatness, or at least on a path to capitalize and to accentuate, to manifest the personality traits and the special cognitive abilities that this person definitely has. Okay, everybody's got their place. Everybody's designed for a good purpose. Everybody has the ability to fulfill a good purpose. Now, some are made for honor and some are made for dishonor. Now, if you step back outside of time, okay, this verse, it's still very true, okay, but in a different way than how you and I think of it, or how most people think of it, where uh, lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So some are made for honor, some are made for dishonor. But the ones that are made for honor, okay, the trick is the ones that are made for honor are made to, let's say, make honorable the dishonorable. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it's like God doesn't waste his time. He's never done it. He doesn't know how. Okay, all he knows how to do is win, succeed all the time. So even the jack fucks that are they seem absolutely motherfucking divorced from reality, and they don't give a shit about what God has to say. Uh, Even those fucking people, okay, will be subject, okay, and especially those people will be subject to processes that are designed to, without failure, rehabilitate that shit. Now, let's just say that the trauma and pain has a place. That's why it's in the world. As long as there's people fucking up, we're going to have trauma and pain. Because, ding, 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 the solution to fucking up is the application of trauma and or pain. Okay, so it's negative reinforcement, kind of like training a dog. Okay, so it's like he sniffs over at that dog's ass, but he's supposed to be walking right beside you. So you just jerk on a leash real quick, just to give him a heads up. Hey man, not cool. Get with the program. Okay, it doesn't have to. I mean, ideally, it doesn't have to be super violent or whatever. It's just a little sharp corrective measure, not violent. Okay, but sharp. Okay, in other words, there's the definitive change of direction. Okay, there's a point that could be marked in the dog's mind that blam, something just happened. Let's make a fucking decision. Okay, and then automatically you condition the dog. So something just happened. Blam, he's pulling me this way. I better chill the fuck out, loosen the fucking tension, and look at what he wants to do. Or listen, definitely listen. Okay. Uh this is to say that you bring up this up to the maximum and you end up with medieval torture methods. I mean, there's some crazy ones like Holy fuck, I don't even want to mention them, but you can look into medieval torture methods just for like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, read a couple and like, God, fuck. And fucking leave it. File that in your cabinet and leave it. But the kind of pain that traditionally can cause people to pass out and shit, right? When you're being prevented from passing out, you actually have to experience that pain. Now, that pain, what it's doing is overriding circuits. Now, your soul or whatever mirrors the circuitry in the brain. Okay, your soul, your spirit, mirrors circuitry in the brain. What we're dealing with is frequency fields and patterns. So it's like a snowflake, right? And like no two snowflakes are the same. And then you imagine the snowflake, and then per atom or whatever, and the degrees. So you're going to be measuring distances. You're going to do mean, fucking, what do they call that? If you're going to do, instead of a Cartesian coordinate plane, you're going to do, the fucking radial one. I fucking forget what it's called. Anyway, I forget the specific term, but the radial one. So you're going to do the radial plane rather than Cartesian. So it's measured from a point. And if you measure snowflake, right, and you measure every node, and you measure the length of every node, and then you go and categorize, classify, or whatever, which frequency, okay, EM frequency, that length corresponds to, okay, and then you gotta go calculate. You're gonna have to experimentally figure it out, but you go and calculate the base resonant frequency, and then you're going to have like a carrier wave, right? And then you're going to have a secondary set of carrier waves. It's probably not just going to be one wave, but it's going to be a secondary set of carrier waves that then branches off because of this branch, and then you're going to blam Fourier the whole thing, and you're going to end up with an output wave. So then the snowflake, okay, if you simulate it as an antenna, okay, this would be a succinct way to say it. The snowflake, if you simulate it as an antenna, is going to have special characteristics that are only held by that snowflake or that antenna. And then it's going to have a fingerprint you'll be able to see just by having, I think, 1, 2, 3. I think just 3 receivers. If you have 3 receivers and you know the distance, you know where they are, then you should be able to backtrace and get workable resolution and be able to fingerprint the original antenna or the signal producer. Anyway, so your snowflake, signal producer, antenna, the variable lengths are not variable lengths, but you have they are variable, but you have the lengths, and that's going to make the length as well as its placement in relation to the main antenna, Anyway, it's a ball of energy, like an orb, that just like it's an orb of fucking plasma or something that fucking colors and and no two look the same. Okay, so to God, this orb is like a face. Okay, and so you can just see your orb and blam immediately know who it is. Now, see, smell, sense. Okay, they all kind of go in as one when you get outside of time, because these are uh, direct sensory or whatever, where when you get to the big show, the direct sensory is important, okay, but there's a lot of higher level faculties that we can't even conceive of. Okay, there's a lot of higher level faculties that we can't even conceive of, being in the position that we're in right now, bound by sin, uh, because if the entire fucking world cannot just chill the fuck out, okay. So we're in the 7th year right now. I know this is going all over the place, but we're in the 7th year right now. as of this is the fourth day of the first month, Sabbath. So we're in the seventh year right now. Seventh year, you are not to sow or reap. Okay, you only eat that which grows of itself. Okay, now I read in the I bought the book, $15, commentary, modern commentary on the Torah, and it just magically opened to that fucking page. I mean, this shit happens to me all the time. It happens to everybody if you pay attention, and well, not everybody, but everybody who God likes. Okay, if you pay attention, and blam, so it goes right there. Uh, fucking eat of it, seventh year, eat of itself. And then the commentary says basically, you're not doing business, okay? You need to eat. You can go out and gather the shit that you need to cook for that day. You know what I'm saying? You can totally do that. It's like Sabbath rules applies. It's a Sabbath year, so you can take what you need for the day. And you can eat for that day, and technically Sabbath rules apply. So if you eat and anything left over in the morning, technically, burn it with fire, technically, because you devoted it for that day. This is a Sabbath year. You devoted it to that day to eat for that day. You don't want to be thinking about the next day, because if you're thinking about the next day, you're not Sabbathing. Okay, you're not resting. You need to be thinking about how to guard the Sabbath, because the Sabbath is the key. Okay, no shit. Psychologically, we're going to prove this probably within the next like 5 years. We're going to prove that the Sabbath, obedience of the Sabbath, literally does make your brain work differently, and specifically in a superior manner as to otherwise if you don't respect the Sabbath. Okay, in other words, and we're going to be able to quantify this. We're going to be able to measure cranium size and morphology, and also we're going to be able to then relate that to finger digit size, and lower leg size, upper leg size, hip width. We're going to be able to correlate these personality traits to different physical dimensions, and then kablawi, you're going to know what the physical dimensions mean. Okay, this is going to be understood in 10 or 20 years. This is just going to be understood. All the sixth graders are going to go through their test. They're just going to learn in 2 or 3 weeks. They're going to learn. They're going to take the test, and they're going to take the test, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, Jimmy, he's got the ratio to his femur and tibia is da 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 da," and so that falls within the limits here. And then combined with his ear shape, Shazam, he's going to be fucking angry if you blam do this, or he's really good at zoning in and fucking getting this technical shit done. uh, you're going to be able to draw these different conclusions and stuff. And this is what the children are going to be meditating on, rather than fucking Jack and the Beanstalk, fucking Mary Had a Little Lamb, fucking Pledge Allegiance to the Flag, fucking stupid bullshit filler shit that is not from the Bible, right? So instead of that shit, we're going to put shit that's in the Bible, okay? Then we're going to extrapolate on it. We're going to prove it scientifically.